Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I had dinner this morning at 12 a.m. That was the intensity of yesterday's day. And then I am sleeping in the same room as Shuka. So I have to get up earlier to get ready because otherwise the bathroom will make too much noise. So I was ready by 5:45 and so was Shuka. So my tactic failed. And we both came downstairs, and the thoughtful hosts here, they handed me a cup of coffee. And on this coffee mug, it said, "I'm not feeling very worky today." I'm not feeling very worky today. It's like they read my mind. But as I was looking at this mug and just thinking about dinner and waking up with Shuka and so on and so forth, does it matter what I'm feeling? Those feelings are associated with the mind. The nature of the mind is to be doubtful, which means fickle. Sometimes I feel like this, sometimes I feel like that, sometimes my mood is like this, sometimes my mood is like that. And so even if I'm feeling not very worky, for Vivek and for all of you, we are tuned into Dharma, our responsibilities. In the visualization of Bhagavad Gita, that would be Sri Krishna. Whenever you're not feeling very worky, remember what I shared. When we began Meaningful Mornings, more than 2 years ago, I regularly shared purpose pulls performance. So what have we been doing? This morning is morning 731. We are training ourselves to live more deeply. If you're not becoming a deeper person, then what the vision of Meaningful Mornings is not working for you. It is working for me, for which I'm grateful to you. This is a responsibility for me. Visualize, if purpose pulls performance, what if your purpose is the deepest? You can't have a deeper purpose. Then your performance will be feeling that depth. And I'll change the word to from deepest to closest. Tell me what Sanskrit word means that which is closest. Closest to you, your center. That word is Atma. That's right. We're about to complete chapter 8. In chapters 3, 4, 5, this training in depth was presented as start with right actions. This will deepen to the right attitude, which will deepen to the right Atma, tuning into who you are, and you will then feel the right ananda. Do you remember us sharing that again and again and again? In chapter 6, when we explored Dhyana Yoga, we changed the language. Though the teaching is the same, our experiences, such as likes and dislikes, they depend on the equipments, like the mind, which depends on the ego, which identifies with that mind. And what does the ego depend on? Existence. That was another framework that was given. In chapter 7, the language changed, the teaching did not. We have this identity as a creature. Vivek is a creature, you're a creature, that's a creature. There's a separation. More beautiful than that, or more full than that, is I'm not a creature, I'm part of creation. More beautiful than that, creation relies on a relative creator. But the finality is that relative creator relies on consciousness. Creature, creation, creator, consciousness. In our last verse, chapter 8, verse 20, Sri Krishna uses the terminology of there is the manifest, everything that we can perceive right now. The base for the manifest is the unmanifest. My thoughts are the way they are because of my unconscious personality, my vasanas. And there's more to us than the unconscious. Sri Krishna uses the word beyond. It is awareness. In front of awareness is the unmanifest. In front of the unmanifest is the manifest. Are you all feeling me about how the teaching is not changing? But Sri Krishna loves us that much that he keeps thinking about how will Vijay understand this? How will Dwayne understand this? How will Amit understand this? How will Vivek understand this? Can you visualize how patient Sri Krishna is being with us? For those who are newer, your question may be, I've understood the frameworks. How do I practice this? In our youth camp, the theme is learning to be natural. And there's a relative utility to this, so you just feel more at ease. The finality of this is learning to be your nature, which is awareness. The first 2 days of this camp, the themes were insecurity and selfishness. To be open that we are insecure. And what do? An insecure person tends to be an extrovert. So we go to people hoping that they will complete us. But many of the people we surround ourselves by are selfish. So what happens to us? We become more insecure. And thus I've been encouraging our youth. Today's theme will be grounding. Tomorrow's theme will be enduring. I've been encouraging our youth to take vitamin R3. Read for 10 minutes, write for 10 minutes, reflect for 10 minutes. You are doing this. You're part of Meaningful Mornings. You are doing this. When one trains themselves in depth in the morning, the rest of the day continues to be more deep. In verse 21, Sri Krishna elaborates on what is beyond. I'm checking in with all of you in terms of Wi-Fi again. You can hear me and see me clearly. Okay. Avyakto-kshara idyuktaha tamahu paramam gatim Yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. First quarter. The avyakta, that which is beyond the unmanifest. Iti yuktaha, it is described as akshara. Described as akshara. This term akshara, I've shared the insights into this in many ways with all of you. I shared this from one perspective in reference to the samskara, akshara abhyasa, writing Om, writing Shri, writing Tattvamasi. I shared it in another perspective that the theme of chapter 8 is akshara yoga. Here's another reflection for all of you. Akshara technically does mean indestructible. Does mean indestructible. Now, the implication of this, that which is indestructible, please reflect on this, means it is. That which is destructible can be there or not be there. But that which is indestructible is. It's impossible otherwise. In the earlier verse, this is referred to as being. So reflect on this. Where is infinity? Everywhere. Who is infinity? Everyone. The next quarter. Tam ahuhu paramam gatim. Akshara is the highest path. Living for the indestructible is the highest way of living. Some insights into this. The word gati is used here. Gati means to go or path. Sometimes when you are at a funeral, then we share, may this person's Atma experience Sat Gati. Have you heard that before? And I've already told you, the Atma doesn't go. So what we should be sharing is may the Ahankara, which is the ego, experience Sadgati. May it follow the path to existence, awareness, joy. Sharing this in one more way. Please share in the chat. How many Purusharthas do we have? How many purposes do we have? One. Please stop writing four. This is not a scholarly approach to self-development. It is one. Just moksha. And the others are to facilitate freedom. That is the paramam gatim. In the third quarter, yam prapya nanivartante, having not reached, but realized what is deepest, closest, nanivartante, that will never change. Obviously, if I'm tuned into the changeless, it's not going to change. That's why it's the changeless. Sharing this in a more utilitarian sense. I'd shared that the deepest part of us is awareness. On top of this awareness is our prince. In Sanskrit, vasanas, the unmanifest. On top of this, or more expressed, is the manifest, like thoughts and words and actions. The more one is identified with the expression, the more affected one is. the more afflicted one is. But if one is realized they are awareness, nothing affects them. They are afflicted by nothing. No experience, no equipment, no ego. It doesn't matter what happens in terms of experiences, equipments, ego, one is still joy. And the final quarter, Tadhama paramam mama, mama. Where is this destination? Who is the deepest? Mama. This is my destination. This is me. Tadhama paramam. This is the highest. This is the deepest. By show of hands, how many of you know how to chant chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So tell me, this last line, what verse does it sound like? Now you have to go Shri Paramatmane Namaha to finally zoom into that one line. Chapter 15, verse 6. But there's a slight change. What is shared in that verse is Yat Gatva Nanivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama, which means having gone there, one never comes back. The implication of this verse and all such verses is, what are you investing in? What are you investing in? We are more than meets the eye. We are more than what we feel. Invest in that more. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday, none of you are doing this. Show me. What was your application yesterday? You're all looking at me. You're supposed to be looking up. We're all looking at our phones. The notion behind this application is the ego makes us live in a small way. Smallness is an expression of ego. I'm really struggling with Wi-Fi right now, so I hope you can catch what I'm about to say, this application. Your application is, whenever you joined Meaningful Mornings to this morning, I want you to rate how deep you were and how deep you now are. 1 is awful, 100 is awesome. How were you when you joined Meaningful Mornings? How are you now in terms of depth? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.